Putin is in full-blown panic, and his biggest fear is coming true.
He's losing Crimea, and he has no way to respond. The military crisis is beyond comprehension.
This military failure is so profound that Russian soldiers are now drinking their own urine to survive, while some of them die of hunger and thirst.
They're not blaming Ukraine for this, but Vladimir Putin.
While Russian soldiers die of thirst, Kremlin TV has accidentally slipped up and confirmed Putin's darkest truth.
The goal of this war is not military victory.
Our Ministry of Defense reported on the results of another massive strike with high-precision weapons on civilians.
Take a look at this yourself.
On the energy infrastructure of Ukraine. This was a response to their shelling of our civilian infrastructure, including in Belgar.
Do you remember a few days ago? Belgar was also devoid of light.
Was that a slip of the tongue, or just mind getting too tired to continue the Kremlin lie?
This is exactly why Ukraine is heading back. And it's hitting back hard.
Just last night, Ukrainian forces carried out 4 major strikes inside Russian-occupied Crimea.
This first strike that you see on your screen is a Ukrainian strike on an oil depot and industrial city located near a Russian airbase.
Soon after this happened, Ukrainian armed forces actually released the video to basically tell the world that they can reach Russia anywhere.
But like always, according to the Russian governor in Crimea, the fire that broke out at the oil depot had nothing to do with Ukrainian drones, but rather the drone debris.
This time, though, we have video evidence that shows otherwise. But Ukraine didn't just stop there.
Even in water, Russians were not safe.
Take a look at this report. Ukrainian drones fly to attack a Russian fuel depot.
Russian fighter jet Su-30 takes off to shoot down the drones. Well, the Russian air defense accidentally...
All in all, a great day for Ukraine. Not so much for Vladimir Putin, because you see, this was one of the bigger fuel depots that Russia has.
And on top of that, while the smoke was still covering the Crimean sky from a NASA satellite, you can actually see the smoke rising from the ground, which is insane.
In total, Ukraine hit this fuel depot twice. In the first strike, they took out 14 tanks, and in the second strike, they...
But as you guys might have guessed, this is not really going to change much on the front lines, because Russian military will just take supplies from civilians.
So people who actually suffer from these attacks against Russian military infrastructure are Russian civilians, because Kremlin always has first steps on it.
In fact, even in Crimea, some residents are speaking up about this. Take a look at this.
In the wards, there's cold water. The taps and everything are cold. There was no hot water at all.
From the side, the patients sitting here just pay and endure such conditions. Why does the government have so much money, yet people are in such conditions? And it's not just residents.
Even former Russian generals are talking about how bad the situation has gotten in Crimea. Here we have Igor Gurkin.
And these blackouts are still going on as I'm recording this on Saturday night. This is where it's important to provide a little bit of context about who this guy is. I'm sure many of you guys may already know this, but this is a former FSB officer, and he actually played a huge role. He believes the leader is a horrible commander-in-chief who doesn't care about his soldiers' lives. Kind of on point.
So this guy is now in jail. That doesn't mean he has stopped criticizing Putin. In fact, he has just doubled down.
Over the last 2 years, we have lost personnel, mobilized, recruit, and volunteers.
It turns out that the money is running out, the meat is running out, and the enemy has learned how to fight.
He admits in this post that Ukraine has become stronger while Russia has only grown weaker.
He also points out that Putin's ruling circle is incapable of sacrifice, because Putin believes that countries should sacrifice but not his elites.
This is why Gurking predicts that a revolution is coming.
That's why he believes that resources of Russia will run out, then Putin will launch a mobilization, and then Russia will collapse.
And when I say lost, I mean killed, not casualties.
4% of Ukrainian territory. That's less than 0.5%. It seems like almost every year Putin is losing more and more soldiers and gaining less and less land.
He appears willing to sacrifice every single citizen, ours, except himself.
But anyways, the Russian soldiers who are fighting on the front lines are not fan of this strategy, and they're speaking up.
We have many different videos from Russian Telegram channels where soldiers are saying that what the hell are we doing?
Take a look at this one, for example. Honestly, not bullshitting you. Out of 10 in one fight.
The whole company went down in one battle. This is the Donetsk-Zaporizhzhia border. No appeal.
We were storming Naval a couple months ago. They killed my dad. Still can't deal with it.
My dad left, then I left. They herded us all into the assault. Now it's mortar fire.
Look, I'll tell you straight. I signed a contract. They mobilized me. I signed the contract.
Me, a contract soldier going in first, and behind me, the convicts were coming in to consolidate. Is that normal? I'm a contract soldier. Now this is where we come full circle. We have another message from a soldier on the Eastern Front, describing how they're just not getting any supplies. In the best case, a couple of cans of podridge, stew, and liters of water for 2-3 people for several days.
There is no air support. There seems to be artillery, but for some reason, it's effing us.
People are dying of hunger and thirst. Every second person drank his own urine to somehow survive.
In other words, it's gloomy as hell. So as you guys can see, Crimea is suffering, and that means Russian soldiers on the front lines.
They go after apartment buildings, they go after malls, they go after babies.
Some believe that this leader will never agree to a negotiated peace unless he is ultimately forced to do so.
So,
If we want peace, we have to show strength.
If you guys enjoy these updates, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below.
We're trying to hit 2 million subscribers by the end of the year.
So, your subscribe really does help us out.